Oh my goodness, the recording has begun. Giselle, Stefan, welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining me, talking about your self-sponsored boot camp thing. So, honestly, this interview is all about you two and the amazingness that has happened in your life over the past, I guess, year or a few months or something rather. But before we get all into that, why don't you two take the floor, introduce yourself, tell people where they can find you and what you are all about? Go.
All right. Well, I'm Giselle, and I'm one half of the Lover's Passport. And I do a lot of we have an Instagram, a YouTube, a TikTok, all of the same name. Oh, and Pinterest and blog, because we just love to be across all platforms. Um,
Yeah, I'm Steven, and you can literally call it the Lover's Passport across every single channel. We do adventure, travel, photography, and budget travel tips, and backpacking, hiking, road tripping, anything to get us outdoors and not at work, because we do both work full time. So we do this on our weekend. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we are almost never home. Giselle wants to be home every once in a while, but
yeah, got some breaks. But yeah, so we run all of our accounts basically after or before work. So Steven will take it in the morning since we work opposite work schedules, and I'll take it in the afternoons. And then we go out and adventure on the weekends and just try and inspire other people to get outdoors.
You two are seriously some of the busiest people I know. So I know you because you're in sponsored boot camp, and honestly, with the way that you two make it seem on your Instagram, it does seem like you're able to adventure full time. So I think that this is a very good, like, whatever system you're doing. I know it's probably overwhelming, but it is working for your brand and stuff, which I think is awesome because you are proof of concept that folks can still have their jobs and they can still have some sort of side hustle. They can still have fun and do adventurous things, and you don't need to like quit everything right away and then make that like your time for fun and stuff. So maybe can you talk a little bit more about, well, you two are both working full-time jobs. We were just laughing because you're working across the street from each other and you're able to like have your lunches and stuff. So I kind of feel like a lot of people would be content with just that, but what made you two want to start posting on social media in the first place and then take that even a step further and say, "Oh, this is actually probably something that we can start making money from."
Yeah, so originally I had started off with a blog of my own first. So I didn't have any social media accounts or anything. But when I first started dating Steven, we started doing a lot of like outdoorsy stuff off the get go. And I had a lot of my friends who didn't do a lot of similar things. And they were asking for recommendations and like what hiking shoes should I buy? What backpack do I need? So I started it specifically for like solo female adventures.
Mm.
And I didn't really do much with it. So I just had a domain on WordPress and I occasionally posted. I didn't really do much. And then come last year, like January 2020, I was like, oh, like maybe it'd be cute if we did a couples adventure blog. Why not? Right. And then, so in January, I had reserved like our website name. I just reserved the handles on social media. We didn't really
Yeah.
do much with it. And then fast forward 2 months later, lockdown comes and Steven was going crazy from cabin fever. And so we just kind of like full sent the posting route and kind of just really deep dived into um, like social media strategy and like photography and editing, because like for my full-time job I do social media, but it's for skincare, so it's very different niche, very different. Yes, it's the same algorithm, but it's still like a totally different audience you're appealing to. So like we had to start branding ourselves and figure out how to use a camera that not on auto like so Steven really deep dived into photography and I deep dived into editing, and that's kind of how we split everything pretty 50-50. But yeah, that's kind of how we started. And that's, we definitely branched out since then. But yeah, we kind of just, that lockdown period was just like being sponges and absorbing as much information as we can. So once it lifted, and we could go out hiking and stuff again, we were able to like feel pretty confident about what we were doing.
I mean, I have like an old YouTube channel. I have terrible, terrible memory. So I bring a little GoPro where we went and just be like, okay, we're here. And then whenever I didn't remember something or whenever I like wanted to remember a trip, I would go and watch my like stupid little YouTube videos. Didn't make it for anyone. I think I have like
It's just for
20
himself,
subscribers.
yeah.
It was just for like me. That way I could go back and look at like the fun little memories. And then yeah, we just started taking tons of pictures. We used to model for my friend Chris when he needed
Because he's a professional photographer.
so
Mm.
he whenever we were having trips, he'd always be talking about like shutter speed and like this is the story I'm trying to tell and oh I need to up my aperture and I'm like
And like, oh, I'm
what are you
working for
talking-
Osprey.
yeah, I'm
Like,
what are you
okay.
talking about, dude? I'm like, yeah, let's just go for a hike. But he'd always be talking about it. So I kind of learned a little bit from him. And then I really started researching it during our quarantine. And that's where we kind of started just going about it.
No, I love that. That's awesome. I think the real story here is Giselle, you had your own little thing, and then Steven, you just were like, "Oh, hey, no, don't forget about me." No, I'm just kidding. You guys are definitely, I think that's really cool that you recognize a need to take something that was fun and then just start doing something that it sounds like you kind of already had like the foundations of, what social media is. You have your little GoPro, whether or not it's for memory's sake or something. And then you figure, like, why not make a brand around it? And I always think that that's super awesome, and hearing everybody's like come up story. And so at what point were you like, okay, I think that we understand how to use a camera. We have a brand. We're actually posting on these accounts that we reserved and things. We're ditching YouTube videos. No, I'm kidding. You're not really. But what made you want to start earning from this? Because some folks are just like, oh, blogs are fun. Okay, call it a day. And then that's it.
Right. Well, I figured, or first of all, if you're going to put as much effort into like spreading knowledge and you're already doing it, you might as well make money from it. And so we're entrepreneurs over here. And so
I didn't even know you could make money doing it. I was just like, oh, it's cool. People like do it. And then she was like, yeah, companies will pay you to like post about it. And I was like,
because
what?
I work and I pitch influencers for, and so I knew that there was a market for it. I did not know how much money you could make from it because, from the brand side of things, you always kind of like pitch free product first and then like,
yeah, right.
yeah, you want to do that and then hope that they will take it. And if not, you like negotiate rates after, but our brand is smaller. So we always tend to work with like pretty micro influencers for a small budget, which is nice. But so I knew that there was the potential to make money. I've worked on the back end of pitch, or like I've been doing pitching, whether it's media outlets or to influencers. So I already knew how to kind of like market ourselves a little bit. Obviously the pitch writing at first definitely took some trial and error, which is where your lovely email templates helped us kind of finesse our final like pitching strategy, which is really nice. But yeah, I kind of knew that it could be potentially lucrative from my main hustle. And then we followed some other accounts with like, she had like 5,000, 7,000 followers. And she was like, oh yeah, this is my full-time job. Like I haven't worked my like an office in a while. And she makes like a ton of money from being a micro influencer. So I was like, whoa, that's like I always thought you had to have like hundreds of thousands of followers. And so we started off just like pitching small businesses saying, and we had like 1,000 or 2,000 followers when I started pitching. I was like, hey, we have like a 30% engagement rate. Like,
yeah,
engaged community. And we actually like one of our first scores we got was doing content creation for Coleman. And that was when we were like 2,000 or 3,000 followers. So like once we got that was kind of like the confidence booster of like, okay, we can do this. We can work with big brands like in our niche. And
I think that we're also just both so competitive where if we see someone, we're like, we can do this better. Or if we see someone like doing, we're like, okay, we can totally do this. So we both just go and go and go until we can reach that level. So I think that
we're both kind of perfectionists. Yeah.
So I think that helped a ton. Plus there's two of us. So if ever I got tired, she'd kind of be like, no, let's do this. And whenever she tired, let's kind of like, let's go. We kind of both push each other. So it's really nice having someone to like hold you accountable. I think we say it all the time. If it was just one of us
We would not
trying to do it, there'd be like no possible way we'd put in this much work.
Like, I think you definitely can do it by yourself, but for the amount of growth we had in 1 year, which is like abnormal, it would definitely help having 2 people.
Yeah, your growth. Let's talk about that real quick. You went from like that 2000 6,000 follower range and pretty much gained a whopping 100,000 followers in a very short amount of time. What was that like? And my goodness gracious, now that I'm also just kind of like thinking about your brand, you already said it, but you really do it all. That having a team of 2 is so helpful, like being able to do the blog, and now you have a Patreon coming out, and then you're doing your content creation, and on top of just photos, you're doing reels and videos and stories and all of the things. So you 2 are able to tag team and like tackle it all and the brand deals as much as possible. But I digress. So yeah, what was that like, just gaining 100,000 followers, and how big of a window was that from when you went to that small follower?
So January 1st of this year, we had 37,000 followers.
Okay.
By March, I think it was like 14th, we had 100,000. So we gained that much in like that was like our biggest growth period. From November, December, January, we were growing at a rate of like 20 to 40,000 followers a month. It was crazy.
Yeah, every day it was like 2 to 4,000.
Like 1,000 followers a day. Like, yeah, it was nuts. And we 100% attribute it to using Reels and TikTok and like hopping on that game early, because now we're not seeing that insane growth anymore. We're probably like 1,000 a month now, or 2,000. Specifically this month, April was pretty slow, but I mean, we're not mad about it. But yeah, it was kind of crazy to go from like, oh yeah, like this is fun, it's more of like a side hustle, like we're making some extra income, really nice, to, oh shoot, we should probably get an LLC and like go get a business bank account and like really think about the business aspects of this whole thing, and like protecting ourselves and working with bigger brands. We're going from working with like indie small businesses to working with Walmart. So like, just trying to comprehend that in the span of a year is kind of crazy. And like, I feel like I am at the point where I could quit my job if I wanted to, because we've already made, like with all the collaborations we've done in the past 4 months, as much as my year-long salary. So like,
wow, congrats. That's awesome.
So crazy. And like, yeah, it's just so mind-blowing.
Yeah, I think that at least the biggest thing that I saw that changed was just like the everything just becomes extreme. Like before, it was like you'd have like 30 to 50 comments and it'd be like going back and forth, and 99.9% of them was positive. And then it got to the point where we'd have posts that got like 5,000 comments
and some trolls and
tons and tons of hate.
You make it when you have some trolls though, and some haters.
Yeah, same thing. Anytime that we would spike, we would get dozens and dozens and dozens of emails and dozens of DMs, just how are you going, just constantly. And I felt like it was almost the spotlight, where in a 2-week span we were on like 4 lives, because everyone was just like
asking us about Reels.
you need to do a live with me. I want my audience to know about Reels. When can we do a live? Because I want to talk about Reels with you. It was like,
and we were like, we don't even really know what's happening. It just happened.
It just happened. So we kind of just talked about our knowledge. But like within a month span, all of a sudden everyone had the spotlight on us, and all the comments, all the TikToks were just, how are you doing this? Why you like what
or like inspired by you guys for this reel. So it was just like, whoa, that happened fast. And crazy. All of a sudden everyone was like, how are you? Like we had people sliding in our DMs like saying, why'd you guys buy followers? Like,
yeah,
there's no way you guys could have done it that fast. And I was like, first of all, why do you care? Second of all, no, we didn't. But yeah, it was just it was crazy to comprehend. Still processing.
Yeah.
It's still downloading. You had some Microsoft lag there. No shame on them. But geez, I didn't even think about that. All of the just anti-lovers passport people, because I think that that's like the funny thing that happens in this industry is people love to attribute external things to why maybe they're not seeing growth. So like a really common one, for example, is the algorithm, and they act like it's like this legit like bot that's just kind of like, squishing your account down to being like, you suck and you're not going to get anywhere.
Yeah.
And people don't realize that when you just take time to maybe try something new, put some strategy behind it, which just sounds like you did a lot of, you were like, hey, okay, reels are probably something we should hop on. So we're going to go ahead and yeah, I guess we could go on your live and talk about that too. But once you kind of put some strategy behind those things, you realize that the opportunities that others are having are impossible. And it doesn't mean that they're buying followers or they're just lucky and stuff. I think that a lot, I mean, sure, maybe some of it's luck, but I think a lot of the problems people have is just, comes down to strategy and being strategic with stuff. So congrats though. I mean, like nobody really likes a good old troll, but you said it best that that's when you know you made it. And besides, we know that Steven's got some nunchucks over there. So, just bust those out and start whipping around at people. No, I'm kidding. Please don't do that. We promote positivity here. Okay.
He's technically a legal weapon, so.
Oh my gosh. Well, she's really pumping you up over there. Jeez, I'm expecting now. I'm going to have to do another recording with you guys. I'm just going to sit here and watch as you like flip through and maybe like some parkour martial arts combos through the screen and show me some like moves and stuff. Yeah. And then when my boyfriend comes home, I can show him all the wonderful martial arts things that I learned via our Zoom chat. So, to be determined on when we schedule this. But okay, you're growing a ton. You're starting to work with a lot of brands. You made a second salary, which is amazing. What made you want to go into the sponsored boot camps program, and like you're taking it seriously and stuff, and you can certainly, nothing is impossible to do on your own, but why even bother getting a course?
Right. Well, I'll answer that last part first. I think the best way you can learn is from people that have already been, or like where they are, that's where you want to be. So like we knew you, we followed you and we listened to your podcast and you were in our niche for a little bit. And so like we felt like we definitely knew that you had some knowledge to offer us. And then when we were looking at courses, we looked at a few people's actually, but I felt like a lot of courses just kind of offer you the same thing. And like when we were looking at courses too, it's like we kind of already had an established brand. We didn't really need to go through like the introductory stages of like branding yourself and like what type of photos do you want to do and what's your niche. Like I feel like we already had that figured out. And so when I saw that you were doing more in-depth things and more specialty things, that definitely caught our eye. And then also yours is affordable and like the payment plan was very nice, so we could split that up. So that was another talking point there. But yeah, so I think that investing into back into your business, whatever you want to call it, your account, is one of the best things you can do. So you might as well have a mentor or coach to guide you, because otherwise, like, yes, you can do it yourself, but you might as well have someone there who's an expert, and that's going to save you so much time, energy, hassle, strategy. Like we signed up for your course, I think when we were around 4,000 followers or 5,000 followers, like somewhere in that range.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Yeah. Well, you guys exploded. That was a while ago.
Yeah. So the second we did it, and the second I think I completed your whole course in like a week.
Oh my goodness. Who are you? What?
I was like,
awesome.
I'm like very straight A, like
I still
studious
haven't
person.
finished it.
He still hasn't finished it, but I tell him what he needs to know.
But I think that the biggest thing, cause I felt like I looked for like a ton of I'd always be sending G like, oh yeah, what about this one, or what about this one? And she's usually the person who's like, yeah, or like, no, this is not good. No, we shouldn't do that one. Yours was the first, she was the one who she never sent me any of them before. So yours was the first one she ever sent to me.
It's like, I think I'm gonna get this one.
And you're like, I was like, okay, that's fine.
Oh, you made the decision for me. That's fine.
we don't I felt like it gave us so much more confidence because we didn't really have any idea what we were doing.
Mm.
And reinforcement. Yeah.
We were getting people asking us tons and tons of questions about sponsorships and what can we do this or can we do that. We had no idea like how much to charge or any of the legal stuff behind it. Do we need a business for this? Where we met
Like what things and contracts did we need to look out for? I had no idea what whitelisting was, what in perpetuity meant, like any of that kind of stuff. And the second I went through your course, I was like, oh, Stephen, like we're getting bamboozled. Like we need to read our contracts more.
Like before, we never would read any of the contracts. We were just like, oh yeah, let's do this.
Well, I read them, but I didn't understand.
You're like, no. I looked at them, okay?
But yeah, so like when
it's just so much more
confidence, and like after seeing your pitches, I was like, okay, like mine sounds similar. So like I feel like we're kind of doing it, and then looking at like your pricing sheets and everything else, I was like, whoa, we're undercharging. Like definitely need to do that. So it gave us confidence, but it also gave us the ability to like make more money. So
yeah, I love to hear all of it. And I'm really familiar with a lot of the brand deals that you two have been able to land, which I think is really awesome. And that's the big thing too, right? Is unfortunately these days the influencer industry is so big, and I suppose I don't want to say popular, but people are just much more familiar with what's going on. Like people nowadays go, oh, okay, kids are growing up, they want to be YouTubers, and there's just no like clear roadmap or tools or help, because we're operating in an industry, and I'll always say this, that has no standards whatsoever, and everybody wants to do their own thing. So I'm happy that you were able to just like get that boost of you're heading in the right direction, and you just need to like, kind of dwindle down a little bit on your strategy and then keep moving forward. So that's awesome. Can you tell people too, maybe like, what's a brand deal, and you don't have to name any names or anything if you don't want to, but what's like a brand deal that you were able to get and you were like, we are so damn proud of ourselves that we were able to like land this?
I think the first one we were like, whoa, was LL Bean. That one was insane. And when we first landed that, I remember we had that was where I was like, oh, they want like in perpetuity or whatever. And that's when I was like, oh, okay, like Danny's course is like helping with this one. And then now we're 4 or 5 months later, we're working with them again for 3 times as much as we originally worked with them for the same ish amount of content. So yeah, it's pretty crazy. That one was really cool. Then I think also working with Columbia and like Walmart, and who else was really cool?
The LL Bean was my favorite.
Oh, Nature Valley.
That's cool. Yeah, too.
So yeah, we're basically like still in shock that we get to literally be spokespeople for the brands we use every day, which is awesome. So yeah, that's another thing where it's like, whoa, we blew up so fast and now Walmart's reaching out to us. What? Like
no, that's amazing. You guys are getting these deals from some household names, which is awesome. Like, congratulations. What would then be the dream sponsorship for you to land? Like, what would that look like for you? Or if you have like a specific brand in mind too, that you're like, come on, we just got to get this.
Maybe like Toyota, working anything with Toyota. I drive a Toyota 4Runner, and that's always been like my dream car. So we tag them in every possible
we
thing,
have their email. We just need to pitch them.
Yeah.
We're working on a pitch deck, but yeah, because might as well just shoot our shot.
Yes, shoot your shot. I mean, the worst a brand could say is no, and that doesn't mean like don't ever talk to me again. It's just like it's not really like a relationship where you ask, a girl to go out with you and she's like, no, get away from me. It's just more like a maybe later.
Yeah, and I think what I want people to know too is for every yes we do get, there's like so many more no's. So
yes.
Like you can't just expect that every brand is going to say yes to do it to you. It's always not guaranteed that it's gonna be a good fit too. Like we have tons of brands reaching out to us, but like I'm not gonna go promote a hair straightener in the middle of the wilderness. Like that's not our niche,
Yeah.
So yeah, just finding those collaborations. I think for me, I feel like mine is more like travel oriented rather. I'm like way more of an experience person than
Mm.
like a things person. So
Mhm.
like Tahitian tourism board, like Bora Bora, let's go, like to French Polynesia or something like that. Yeah, I'd love to do more like travel tourism boards or like Iceland, like whatever the Iceland tourism board is, like that would be so sick. So something like that. I mean, if I had to choose like an outdoor brand, like I think working with like REI would be dope. Or Patagonia, but I know they don't really work with influencers. So
Maybe. I mean, you never know. A lot of brands have warmed up to it over the past few years, especially. So we're all about possibilities, right? So manifest it. Yes, put it on your vision board, stare at their logo every single day, do
Mhm.
all the things. That sparkling water you're drinking, stick their stickers on there too. So
Oh,
you see
yeah.
it every time you put it to your face. No,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
awesome.
This was a brand collab. Yeah.
Oh, and what? Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
This is sponsored by what brand is it?
This is Spindrift.
Sponsored by Spindrift. Welcome to our TED Talk. That's amazing.
They sent us 16 cases and we've just been going through it.
So
We have one every day.
Hey, everybody loves a good sparkling beverage. So my drink of choice is kombucha over here. So I'm on the Booch fam. So patiently awaiting for said Booch company to reach out to me. If you're listening to this, no, I'm kidding. But so where are you two setting your sights for now? What's the future for the Lover's Passport? You have your Patreon coming out, and yeah, what's next?
Presets. I've been doing this for a while. It's just like, since we do commit to so many platforms, it's really hard to pump out content at the rate we are and also work at them and multiple other projects at the same time.
Right,
So we
right.
decided, okay, we're going to do Patreon first and then we'll do presets. And then after that, we're going to be releasing some more like ebook style, like guides, I think. Or I'm not sure if we want to do like a book or like a coffee table book or just like national parks guides, kind of similar, not like Renee Roaming, we have her book, but like we kind of want to do like a California, like head to toe kind of like photo
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
kind of style. And like, because we've already done all the California national parks, but now we're kind of like, all right, there's 280 state parks, like let's go to all of them. So we'll see what happens, but yeah, that'd be kind of cool to publish something like that. And yeah, I mean, just expanding and
I would say
scaling.
going international because
Yes.
everything we've done has been in California. Literally
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
everything except we went to Utah and we went to Colorado and Arizona and
So like the
Nevada,
neighboring
but
states.
neighboring states. But even the East Coast or going to somewhere like Wyoming or Montana or hopefully going abroad. We have Italy and Iceland
Canada.
and Canada on our radar of like those are the next spots we want to go. So as soon as everything opens up, we'll be traveling very soon.
Yeah, we're getting our second vaccines next week, so that will open up some more opportunities.
Well, if you at any point in time want to just throw me in a suitcase and like, check me in your bag or something, I may or may not be free. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, that's really cool. And what I really love about your story is you two are finding balance in what you're doing and you're figuring out as you go along, but you are still setting your sights on having experiences that are going to last you a lifetime. And if those experiences can also pay for themselves via your side hustle, that's even better because that's just like more money in the bank for you and then like more Italian Amalfi Coast vacation in your future. So yeah, that's really awesome. I'm proud of you guys. I'm happy for you. I'm also low key scared because of the nunchucks. No, I'm kidding. But I that's really neat. And it seems like things are starting to, at this point in time when we're talking, open up and people are warming up to the idea of travel. So I can totally see that all being in your near future, which is amazing. Well, to cap all of this off, this wonderful, beautiful conversation, if somebody were to start their influencer journey right now, no matter where they are on the spectrum of followers and things, what would be your advice to them? Maybe they also, assuming they have like a 9 to 5 like you as well.
Okay.
I have a favorite quote.
Yeah,
Say
yeah.
it. We love a good
I,
quote.
I always say you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start in order to be great. So I have like so many people who are like, I've never used a camera before, I've never gone backpacking or camping, or I've never reached out to a brand before. Well, only thing you can do is like try it and then learn from those mistakes. So that would be the biggest thing I would say. I mean, we we I didn't have an Instagram until I was like 21 or something like that. So like 2 years ago, and never knew anything about it. And in 1 year, we've hit 100,000 just from Giselle asking me like, "Hey, do you want to do this together?" So that would be my biggest thing: is don't compare and don't,
The comparison thing
yeah,
is big.
don't
Yeah.
compare. Just do your own thing and have fun with it.
Yeah, and I'll piggyback off of that. When we were creating our account, like, don't try to be like somebody else. Like, try and figure out how you are unique. And, like, when we were looking at branding ourselves in the beginning, like, okay, we could be another travel couple, we could be another like adventure landscape photographer account, but like, how do we tell our story in a way that's not been seen before? Or like, how do we do our account that's different? So like,
Mhm.
I would just say find that thing for you that makes you stand out, that makes you different, and that makes people attracted to your page
Yeah.
and want to follow you, because the sooner you figure that out, the easier it's going to be in the long run. So like doing that, like, mental exercises before you actually start posting, I think is so important, and definitely helped us in the long run, because we kind of had an idea of, okay, we're taking landscape photography, we're taking travel couples, and we are now the merge. And we had never seen like creative self portraits and landscapes before, like in the influencer space at least. So that was kind of our in. And our other thing is like working 9 to 5 jobs while also doing all of this. So that's why I think a lot of people follow us on top of our like itineraries and like usefulness, but finding something that makes you stand out. I think that's super important in the beginning, and just telling your story authentically, which is, authentic is a word that
Yeah.
is, you know, thrown around.
It's loaded, but yeah, I know what you mean though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that one drill we did in the beginning, we had to like write down 3 things or find 3 accounts that we really liked, and like these are kind of accounts that we would like to do something with, and then we got to find 3 more accounts
That we don't
that
wanna
we
be
don't
like.
want to be like. So all the like super super coupley accounts compared to like all the, and then also having the adventure in it. So I think that was a super helpful exercise we did when we first started.
And also just knowing it's going to take a lot of hard work and a lot of time management. It's not as easy as everyone says it is. Like, we try and show the behind the scenes as much as we can,
Mhm.
but it's a lot of hard work. It is a second full-time job if you are serious about monetizing it as like a very serious salary. Otherwise, I mean, like, if you're not trying to do this full-time, or like eventually do it full-time, then you can definitely put in less work. But Steve and I do work several hours a day on strategies and growth and everything. So just knowing ahead of time that you're going to get what you put into it.
That's important to set those expectations, because I see, and that is something that I myself maybe didn't realize when I first started, was if you are, and this goes for anything in life, right? But if you're really serious about m- building some sort of career, just something for yourself, you have to put the time in and put a little bit of tunnel vision focus into going all in, and also being super patient. I'm a very impatient person. I know you two were laughing about how you're competitive and such, but that can be difficult sometimes for folks like us, because we want those results immediately and it does take time. I mean, for you two, things have been going really fast, which I think is amazing. And you're able to see that growth and propel in your influencer careers, so to speak. But it's good to also recognize that things take time, and there's opportunities everywhere too. So just because maybe somebody else gets somewhere faster than you, that doesn't mean that things are removed off the table for you. Like, you could
Right.
there's still time for you to have a piece of that pie as well. So we can all slow down a little bit. But and I just, like, one more question that popped into my mind too: what would be advice for maybe some folks who are couples and they want to work together? I'm so curious, because not everybody has a team of two, but for those who do, what would you say to them?
I think I have like two things. One is make sure to separate like date time and like quality couple time with work time, because it's very easy for it to overlap and mix, and like you'll be on a date night and want to talk about work, but like we kind of have this thing where we do like our Wednesday nights are like our work date nights, and our Friday nights are date nights. So
Aw.
we'll be together, spending time on Wednesdays, but we'll be working on like content or whatever. And we'll just have like a nice dinner first, and then kind of get into it. And then Friday's like no work if we're not going somewhere. But making sure you keep that time separate, I think, is super important. It really depends on your love language, but also communication, I think, is the biggest thing. Just in any relationship in general, whether you're dating the person or you're working with another person. Just having open communication and honest communication, and making sure that like you're presenting your idea in a way that's not like offensive or accusatory.
Yeah.
But like, for example, like we're talking about like some brand collaborations that reached out to us earlier today, and I don't want to work with some people, and Steven has like already sent them our prices, so like we kind of just have to like talk it out and be like, hey, like I don't really want to work with these people. I'm not comfortable promoting it. And we'll just like talk. You just have to be honest, I think, is the biggest thing. And
Yeah.
be afraid of your feelings or their feelings getting hurt, because at the end of the day, it is a business, but it's also a relationship, and you don't want your business to negatively affect your relationship.
Yeah, and just get it all out, right? Like if you just have something to say because you are still using that business brain, just throw it on the table and then you can like fix it later, but at least you rip the Band-Aid off and it's done. I love that. That's awesome.
I don't know if you want to add anything.
I would just say like not assign jobs, but kind of like know your duties that we're not like in the beginning. It seems like a super simple thing, but responding to comments, we would double respond all the time. Like it sounds so stupid, but we would double respond all the time. It was like the instant I got on, Giselle had like a sensor.
We had like a telepathy, I don't know.
Too, and we both but that's like a stupid example of it. But same thing goes with like I do almost all of the responding to comments unless I ask Giselle, so I know like every day that's my responsibility. She does all of the editing for all of our pictures.
All, like,
that
feed planning.
I had a little bit of a different editing style at first when we first started doing it, but and I mean that can happen when you're going back and forth. But she does all of the photo editing, and then I do all of the video editing. So any reel that we create or any TikTok that we create, I set aside and do that part. She does all of the YouTube,
like I do all the back end stuff and the SEO. And so like I feel like assigning those jobs too, it like prevents you from stepping on each other's toes. So like kind of become your own little experts in your side things. And obviously we talk.
Yeah, we both talk like, what do you think about this reel, or how do you feel about this edit versus this edit? We talk about it, but it makes it really, really easy to like get your own stuff done and separate your little pieces rather than both trying to spearhead on one thing. And I think that's where a lot of disagreements can happen.
Like micromanaging.
Has like an idea and the other person has an idea. So I think but at least what I've seen work really, really well out of the past month. I think that's how we're so efficient. Is we split up the work, and then
you got to trust the other person that they're going to do quality work. Cause like, I was always that person in a group project that's like, I'm going to do everything. I don't trust anything, or like, I don't trust. But like in this kind of thing, you really do have to trust your partner. So I feel like that's the biggest thing. Just trust, communication, and separating out who's doing what.
Yeah, it's not easy by any means, but those are all super necessary. And quite frankly, too, even freelancers that I have contracted and hired in the past, I have struggled with those same exact things, like trusting that they're going to be able to actually take something off my plate and do their job to the caliber or quality that I want. But it still just comes down to like feedback, trusting them, and giving them clear duties. Like, hey, this is what I'm going to do. This is what you're going to do. Because it's like, it's nobody's fault if something doesn't turn out the way in your brain you envisioned it, and you also like kept it inside forever. It didn't actually say what you wanted or what you expected out of something. So that's all great. And I think that a lot of people sometimes are maybe hesitant to work with their significant other and such because they don't want to mix business and pleasure. And it's not for everyone, but if you're going to do it right and instill those, like, I don't even know what to call them, processes, whatever, the boundaries as well, and figure it out as you go. And then if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, but it's always figure outable is what I like to say. Well, amazing. No, I love talking to you two. And again, proud of you and everything that you're doing. And now I'm getting ready for, like Cinque Terre, Rome, whatever you choose to do in Italy, Lover's Passport 2.0, international, your Discovery Channel deal, getting like your own, I don't know.
Oh yeah, that would be good.
Man, that would be pretty cool, right? Yeah, we're manifesting this for you. Plop that on your vision board along with the Patagonia stuff. Can you tell everyone one more time where to find all of you on the blogs and things? We've said your social handles so many times, but just for good luck.
Well, we're at the Lover's Passport on all platforms, and our website is just loverspassport.com. And yeah, we're having a ton of new content coming out. So
across
across everything.
So. If you guys haven't heard of it, we just started using Triller. It's like
another platform,
a new form of TikTok. So we just started using that as well. So that's the newest one that we're on. But
you heard it here, folks. Get on all the platforms and search them. Lover's Passport. And if you don't know how to spell lovers and passport, then we have some other things to discuss, but it's super easy to find them. No, thank you guys so much. I am proud of you. I'm going to end this recording now. And I'm sure all the beautiful people out there watching this are going to go ahead and give Lover's Passport a follow. Cinque Terre 2.0. Woo, Italy.